Hi, Bethany Church. Pastor Tara here with Jill, and we have a message for you in this time of coronavirus. And as many of you have probably heard or seen said in many different places, church has not been closed. Church has been open all of this time, but we haven't been able to gather in person. And we are worshipers by nature, and worship is a way of life, so we haven't stopped with that either. But not being able to gather is an important part of our life together as believers in Christ. And so we want to just talk with you a little bit about how this could look in the coming months as we seek to be together again. We are going to be following pretty closely the phases that have been laid out for the state of Michigan and the recommendations for gathering sizes. And so once a larger group of people is allowed to be together, then we have some plans that we'd like to try. And we realize that this is new and something that we need to be flexible on. And we might try it and find that we need to try something new. Our plan centers around our family groups, which we are really grateful that we already have in place. And we would like to invite you to a time of worship with your family group. And this is kind of how it's going to look. For 3 weeks on Saturdays, we will have one family group come to the sanctuary and worship with us and have a praise team, and us pastors will be there, and we will lead worship and worship with you as a family group, and that service will be recorded. The next morning, we will stream that service for anybody who has chosen to stay at home and for the rest of the family groups that were not present that night. Also, during that morning, we will have an opportunity for 2 family groups to come and to watch the service together in the sanctuary, practicing social distancing in there. And we will also share in a time of prayer after we've watched the service together, and to take communion safely together. We really feel that this is a good baby step plan to helping us come back together and to do it safely in a way that honors the guidelines of our governor, but also keeping in mind that as a congregation that is probably 90% in that vulnerable population, that we have a responsibility to care for each other in that way, and that we need to be committed to not spreading coronavirus in our community as a part of our witness to the gospel of Jesus at this time. On the 4th Sunday, so that's our first 3 Sundays and Saturdays of the month, the first 3 weekends, we will do family groups those first 3. On the 4th week, we would hope to do a parking lot worship service where those who have cars would come and we would spread out in our parking lot here at the church. And then anyone who walks up, we would have some seats available that are socially distanced, and we would worship together as a community in that way, holding a service outdoors. We really are excited about these options, and we hope that you'll participate in them, but only if you feel comfortable. We also will continue to do all of the same things we've been doing online with Bible studies and streaming our services at home, so that those of you who need to stay home can. And we really want you to know that this is a kind of a 3-prong approach. At home, family groups, and parking lot worship are all ways that we as a family can worship together. And so now I'm going to invite Miss Jill up to tell us a little bit more about what this plan will look like for our younger Bethany members.
Hello, Bethany family. Just to reiterate some of what Pastor Tara said, as we move forward, we will be having kids ministry, but it will be a lot of learning and trial and error. So I know that we can all extend grace to each other as we figure out the best way to do kids ministry and teen ministry in this new reality we find ourselves in. On the first 3 Sundays, the Sunday morning service and the Saturday evening service, Bethany kids will be having a dwell lesson with me. Tara and I are going to pre-set up some socially distanced seating or space for the kids, either in the fellowship hall or in the team room. And volunteers will be wearing masks, and we will have a typical dwell lesson. On the fourth Sunday, where we're going to attempt to do the parking lot service, the kids are going to stay in their cars with their families, and we will provide for them an activity kit that will go along with the content of the lesson. It'll be interactive where they can follow along at their own pace. There may be snacks, coloring sheets, all sorts of things to go along to keep them engaged in the content. As far as teens go, we're hoping that we can go ahead and start getting some teen activities going here very soon. We're going to be talking about the best way to do that. Preferably outside venues is what we're going to start out with. Both our high school and middle school group are under 10. So we feel great about trying to start some new things here in the upcoming weeks. We just want to reiterate that if you don't feel comfortable with your child participating, children are wonderful and they're a gift from the Lord, but they don't understand social distancing as well as some of us do. So if you don't feel comfortable, we want you to know that staying home is a great option as well, and we will continue to provide the at-home resources for you for as long as we need to. Turn it back over to Tara.
So we have a lot of logistics to work out for this plan yet, and we hope, though, that you will help us, that you will be gracious and patient, and that you will help us with this protocol that we need to put into place in order to be safe. And we want to provide meaningful opportunity for all of us to be able to connect with each other and to continue to connect with our God. And we also want to make sure that we are making it clear that we are still open to visitors. So if you want to invite somebody to parking lot worship, if you want to share the online worship service, if you want to invite somebody to your family group time, you are welcome to do that. And we are making space for that. We feel that that is part of our mission as a church, to share the good news of Jesus with others. And we are not stopping that. This is not just for us. This is to help us and continue in our mission. So we have some guidelines that we would like to share with you of how this is hopefully going to look in order to be safe together. And Jill is going to come up and help me show you.
So if you choose to worship with us in person, we do ask that you please help us prevent the spread of coronavirus by following some basic guidelines.
First of all, we want you to stay home if you are sick.
You're good. 97.4.
All right. If you choose to come.
If you choose to come, please only come at your designated time.
And if you choose to come, please wear a mask over your face that covers both your nose and your chin. And we plan to have some extra masks on hand. We are ordering some that actually will have our Bethany logo on them that you all can have. And we'll always have some extras on hand.
When you come to church, please stay 6 feet apart.
We promise that we will not make you carry a pool noodle to stay 6 feet apart, but we do ask that you be conscious of how close you are to others and practice social distancing, wear your mask, keep your hands clean, and if you're sick, stay home. I want to just close by thanking you all for being so gracious, and just a reminder for all of us during this time in our witness and our worship as a way of life to continue to put on love, to continue to remember that love covers a multitude of sins, and that as we move forward as being the church during this time, we would continue to hold fast to Jesus and his love.